our children are in front of screens that they really aren't guided of what does a conversation really look like and feel like.
Yeah.
What is connection? I think we're filled with questions about what does that even mean. You're going to have to choose to be here, and maybe there's something drawing you in that's kind of forcing this in your life. Like you do feel at the end of something, or you're being confronted with an experience. People cry in Atlas all the time.
Let's start with why Atlas. How'd you come up with that name?
Okay, so um, there, I always describe it in their key features of Atlas, like key reasons why I started Atlas. The Zoggs were at a crossroads, all three of us. Emma had been painting in Utah County for an artist, and that job she decided wasn't for her. And so that was one of the important moments. My dad was dying. We were taking care of my aging father, and he was on hospice and he was dying. And so it brought me to a place of what's next. I think death does that to us. It's a time of reflection. So that's a important piece. And then I learned how to make this amazing fresh ginger chai from an Indian man that I met at the university my son attended. And it had become part of my everyday. You've great fresh ginger, and you have the cardamom and the mortar and pestle, and you pound it and you smell it, and it was so lovely. And I hadn't had chai that tasted that way in Utah, America. And so that was an important piece, the chai. And
Just
then
sort of the aromatic of it, and also the action of making the chai,
and really the flavor profile wasn't offered. So it's pretty clean. There's just ginger, there's just cardamom. It's not muddled with a lot of a big spice blend. It's pretty clean. The black tea, the sugar, the milk, there are 5 ingredients.
yeah.
So it was different experience. And it had become just part of my morning ritual.
Nice.
And so that was a big piece. I wanted others to have that. And so the chai, the Zoggs were at a crossroads. My father was at the end of his life, causing reflection. And I'm a mental health therapist, and our family had a tragedy in 2020 where my former husband and my children's father took his life. And I wanted a way to somehow spread messages that would keep people away from that extreme, that self-violence, violence toward others. And we talked about the violence this week in Utah. Is there a way in that could be a little more gentle? And I know it's tea, and in American culture, I have a lot of work to do to make tea, kind of popular and a go-to. It is for many, but not like it is around the globe. Billions of people drink tea around the globe. And Americans, when I did a pitch long ago, I talked about the Boston Tea Party, and I said, that was a long ago, people, let's leave it behind, and that was amazingly right during the No King protest. And so I said it was kind of the same as what we were just protesting in Salt Lake, and there was violence there. And so I said, let's have an Atlas Tea Party and bring tea back into American culture. Tea is a broad topic, and I love that about it. Coffee is coffee, and
Yeah, it seems like America runs on coffee.
yeah,
And everybody has their morning coffee, and then maybe their mid-morning coffee, and then their afternoon coffee. It's like, but I mean, when we spent time in the UK, we lived there for 1 year. It was all about tea, and I
wow.
was just like, how did they get that mindset, and how do we get our coffee mindset?
I
I
think it was the Boston Tea Party. Don't
maybe it
you? Like
was.
that's
I
where
guess
I
so.
that's where I like they threw the tea
Yeah, it was
in
like hell
the
with the tea.
ocean.
We're gonna
And
give it
I
back to the
also think
ocean.
the trade routes, I mean, it's an unfortunate part of our history, but coming through Africa, and
Hmm.
I think the trade routes probably influenced
Oh
bringing
yeah.
coffee
Hmm.
into America. I don't
Yeah.
know. I haven't I would love to read up more on that. Like, why did America turn to coffee as
Hmm.
the drink of choice, as the morning drink of choice?
Yeah.
And I
I didn't
think it's
drink coffee.
multifactorial.
Yeah, I didn't drink any coffee growing up, and then I met a Bosnian, and that was just like all about, they were all about coffee. And it was
Wow.
such a routine for them, and then it became my routine, and now I can't function without my morning coffee.
That's me
But
with
it's
chai.
yeah.
Richard,
But
like that is exactly why I started drinking chai. I mean, I love the flavors, but I didn't grow up drinking black tea at
yeah.
all or coffee.
Well, the
So
interesting thing is like tea is kind of this gray area in the Mormon faith, and you're
I'm
LDS,
LDS.
and
Yes.
so did you just can you give us that story? How did you get introduced to just thinking tea is cool and I'd like to
Well, you brought in
incorporate
the
it?
UK and you've lived there and you know tea is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved, I was in a large Mormon household, lots of kids, seven, all girls, and I gravitated toward Jane Austen. She spoke to me. My bachelor's degree is English teaching
Pride and
because, yeah,
Prejudice, right?
Pride and Prejudice. I named my daughter Emma. Like that, I wanted a girl so I could name her Emma. Um, Not that that heroine is the most, Emma's like, you didn't even know me yet, Mom. Why? I'm not that Emma. Anyway, and so Jane Austen really spoke to me. So as a teenager, I thrifted from the Deseret Industries. If you're in Utah, you know what that is. And it's the local thrift shop. I did a tea tray and a teapot, and I got a porcelain cup. And I was just totally infusing my life, to use a good tea word, with the Jane Austen UK vibe.
Nice.
And I would do it by myself because my sisters weren't interested. The two sisters closest to me were both into sports, and here I was. I took piano lessons and I watched Jane Austen and I drank. And I did, of course, being a good, good Mormon, good LDS youth, I drank herbal tea. And
Hmm.
Celestial Seasonings was in the grocery store. I could pick it up, the fruit tea or
And a name like
mint.
Celestial Seasonings, of course you can't be going wrong,
Boom,
right?
you got that. I love it. Yeah, it was okay,
Yeah.
And mint tea, and I tell this story how my dad always had chocolate chips around the house. Always. Like that was his go-to. He was a dentist by profession and he would come home after a stressful day and like scoop up a handful and just knock back a whole
Wow.
handful of chocolate chips. That was comfort.
Wow.
Well, I started finding out that the combination of mint tea and chocolate chips is very good.
Huh.
So I would get a nice little bowl of chocolate chips and brew mint tea and man, put chocolate chips and then drink the hot tea. It melts in your mouth. It's so good.
Hmm.
Highly recommended.
And your parents were cool with that. Shit.
And in a big family, if anyone knows, like eyes aren't on you that much. Like
Yeah.
it felt okay. I mean,
Well, it's
I
not like you're drinking beer, so it's
100%. I
yeah.
totally felt comfortable in my bishop's interviews. I mean, I it didn't feel out of bounds,
Yeah. And
the herbal tea.
you told him though.
No, no, this is not very good. I
You're
love
not
that
going
you
to
would
tell that
ask.
to your bishop.
No, but within my own conscience, I felt like I was good with God.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, um, so tell me, in the context of tea, you find peace and you found a way that you could spread sort of this message of not only peace but healing from trauma and traumatic events, and that we go into that in your story in Faces. You obviously had a very traumatic event happen in your life. Can you explain how the combination of sort of a community gathering place, but also a place for healing was created with Atlas and what you've done there?
Yes. So the aim, we have a brick and mortar in Ogden. It's on a very busy street called Washington Boulevard. That's where they would drag race. They still do the
Oh yeah.
cars without the mufflers. I mean, it's motorcycles. It's very loud and busy. And the way that evolved is a beautiful story that brick and mortar building. I knew when um, we had looked into mobile chai, because the chai was the thing for me. I wanted people to have this chai. And we looked into mobile food, and I admire those who can do mobile food. I mean, it's not an easy, and when you're heating and you're, it requires a lot of electricity and anyway, a lot of
Hmm.
permits and things like that. So I admire those who do mobile food. So um, as the concept kind of grew and I felt this sense of purpose in it, um, we chose this brick and mortar spot. It had never been built out, so we had um, full rights to just make it whatever we wanted it to be. And it's on this very busy road. And so when you say community gathering place, that I described this moment to one of your writers. I was outside of Atlas, and it's such a the designers who put it together just did such a they captured it so well. And the Vard is super busy, and this Atlas tea shop is right coming in off of that noise. And it hit me. I was sitting outside, it was evening, and it was such a representation for me about well-being. And it wasn't purposeful. It happened before, without me even really putting it all together.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say it was intentional. It just happened. And then I'm outside in the evening and the Vard is going, all the busy and loud was going. And there is this place of stillness that can happen for every human. And where do we find it?
Hmm.
And because our internal world is busy and loud and fast, and it's hard to quiet the noise.
Yeah.
And so to find a place of stillness. So that moment of that metaphor really, and it formed without me even intentionally doing it.
Hmm.
The steps to that location and why and where and how formed without me even recognizing what a beautiful metaphor it is for inner well-being.
Yeah.
Because it gets so loud inside for most of us, and to quiet is difficult. And
Yeah.
you have to choose to go there. And part of that moment of reflection was I was watching all these cars pass, and they weren't choosing to come into Atlas.
Hmm.
And that's part of the metaphor. You have to choose to go there. It has to be a willing um, exercise.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think with our phones always beeping and buzzing, and then this incessant need to be checking social media. I have that now, even though I don't check my own personal social media. I'm checking our social media. I think it does create this inner turmoil and this inner noise that's just always on. And
And that you're going to miss something, or that I
yeah.
think it's a survival thing. It's like, oh, I'm going to miss something.
Hmm.
And then my friends are going to be talking about it, and I'm not going to be in the loop.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to miss something. And
Hmm.
so it becomes a survival um, sensation in the body, is what I would call it. Like you just feel like compelled to
Hmm.
survive socially, to
Yeah.
be on your phone constantly. And so you do have to choose, like, do I want to survive, or do I want to exist, to
Yeah.
be to
Exactly.
be in that stillness? You have to choose.
I went on a river rafting trip and I wrote about it, and I was off the grid for 5 days, and I didn't have my phone. And when you don't have your phone and you don't have that access to it, at first it feels really weird. Like you're, man, what's going on that I'm missing? But then by the time I got off the river, I was like, gosh, I don't want to look at my phone and I don't want to look at social media and I don't care. It's like, why do I care about all that crap?
And go
It's
into
just,
that, because like your body felt settled.
yeah,
There was
yeah.
this settled feeling.
And it was, I think it's a sense of my own thoughts instead of this like hive mind we get caught up in.
Ooh, nice. Yeah,
And I
I get
think,
it.
yeah, it's like the noise of the zeitgeist of the hive mind or something like that that
Oh,
really gets you connected. And I think it's got to be mentally healthy to shut that off, right?
And to
And
move out of
yeah,
survival.
and keep it off for a while.
Absolutely. And choose to.
Hmm.
Like you had this experience on the river where it was almost kind of forced on you. Like you chose to go on the river,
Yeah.
but the disconnect from all phone, electronics
Hmm.
was kind of forced on you. And then, man, you're grateful.
Yeah.
So I'm okay to be forced in life. I would, there have been a lot of things in my life where I would say I'm forced to change, like there's
Hmm.
something about in like combining where I'm forced to grow, I'm forced to confront something that I haven't. And
Hmm.
so I'm okay that that river trip forced you to really have this experience of that dissonance in the beginning, like your nervous system was fighting against itself like
Hmm.
crazy, like your head, it was stressful, like
Hmm.
survival is really
And
stressful.
everybody felt that at the first day
It's
on
very
the trip.
stressful. And so like, and then so being forced to do so, and then forced to, like, you're invited then to settle.
Hmm.
And I think that is the ask of Atlas.
That's great. That's
It
way
is.
cool.
It's like you're going to have to choose to be here. And maybe there's something drawing you in that's kind of forcing this in your life. Like you do feel at the end of something, or you're being confronted with an experience. People cry in Atlas all the time.
Really?
Like it's phenomenal. And they'll say things like that. They'll say, like, whoa, I didn't think I would cry about that. Or I haven't cried about that yet.
Hmm.
My word.
Wow.
What a
That's neat.
beautiful, like,
Well, that's what I
those,
love
that's
about,
the
I
purpose.
mean, that's what I absolutely love about these community gathering places that only local small
Mm.
business owners can make. It's like this third place, they call it sometimes too, where it's not your work, it's not your home, but it's a place you can go to feel like a part of something bigger than you that's not your home and your work, you know? And a lot
Yeah.
of people feel consumed by one or the other, but I think only locally owned independent businesses can really create that third place.
Oh, I
And
love that
and I think you.
because it's such a unique, and when you're a small business owner, you're choosing everything.
Hmm.
The decision fatigue is so real. And so it's so intentional. Like you're choosing everything that's going on. Nothing's being dictated from a larger corporate structure. Like
Yeah.
you're choosing everything.
Yeah.
And so to have it be intentional,
Hmm.
and like Emma, when we were deciding what music to fill the space, because most, we expect to have some sort of background music. It's pretty standard now, and we have the capacity, that our technology allows it. And so Emma she took that on. I didn't even ask her to, did I? My darling daughter Emma. And it took her weeks and months to really settle on, and maybe she could talk about just the music of Atlas, because I think it is so intentional. When you talk about a small business, when you walk in, you have no idea. I would have never guessed how many decisions were made
Hmm.
just to create that,
Yeah.
just to make that possible.
So how did you choose the music, Emma?
Yeah, I remember it was just months like as it was being built out, and I remember not really knowing what it would be because we love Irish music, so I was thinking like sea shanties or like just because it is a metaphor of a ship, like Atlas is a ship, and so the designers kind of um based the space off of that, and it doesn't really land anywhere like culturally like a specific country or anything. But so I would play those in Atlas. It didn't feel right. And
Hmm.
then I remember um, starting to play like piano music covers, and then the piano would be playing, and it was just beautiful. In the space, I could just feel it come alive. And the covers is something familiar that everyone can kind of be like, oh, I know this song, and
So
I
cover
love it.
piano
Yeah.
music.
And so
Yeah,
it's familiar,
Nice.
it's comforting, it's just great. Yeah.
it's lovely.
That's cool. I'm trying to see it. Or do you have some photos here on your website of the space itself?
Find the gaps, Richard, please. Find the gaps. If you've been in the London Tube, they are always like, mind the gaps. So, like, find the gaps. And I mean, that is what we need. We need eyes on Atlas
Many eyes.
because we are making all these decisions like small business owners. And
We
we're,
forget. We
yeah,
forget some things.
mind
Yeah.
the gaps.
What about your Instagram? Do you have some on
A
there?
few.
Okay, I'm gonna find some because I want to see what it looks
Well,
like.
just come.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
choose to come.
We're gonna come. We're gonna make the
Get on
trek
that
all the
board,
way to Ogden.
take the muffler off, like make some noise, and then come into Atlas.
Well, you know what my daughter wants to do? She wants to ride the train to Ogden. She
Fun.
thinks that sounds like a blast, so that's what we're gonna do.
Oh, we're very close
Here
to
we
the
go.
front runner.
Yeah, there's a cool picture. There's a guitar player in your space.
Oh
Jack's
yes.
got it up there. That looks cool. That looks really fun. I love the lighting. Those fixtures. Yeah.
We do so early on. Another decision. So sound healing is a beautiful way in. So those who interact with Atlas, the purpose, um, the foundation, I guess I should call it, is a way in. How are we going to get in
Yeah.
deeper?
Do you want
And
to show
so
this, Jack, the Instagram
sound
again?
is a beautiful way in. So sound
So you have
healing.
this big, is that a cello she's playing there?
Yeah, a double bass.
Oh, wow.
She's 14 years old.
Wow.
Lola Chapman. She came in and her dad brought an amplifier and
That's a big instrument.
oh,
Wow.
and she was tall and she was so cute. She's like, it's really not that hard to carry. And me at 5'2", I'm like, you make that look easy.
Yeah, it looks like an awesome space. And then you do outdoor events
So
and
we
this is how
do,
you do
just
your
to
ginger.
answer Ryan's question, I early on I wanted this concept of steeped in sound. It's playing on what tea is. And so we do steeped in sound Sundays. So we're open all day Sunday. And yeah, that it mattered to us culturally to be available because Ogden is still, I don't know what the numbers are percentage wise, but a lot of places are closed on Sunday in Ogden. So I wanted Atlas to be open all day and to do steeped in sound Sunday.
That's cool.
Not to be offensive to anyone, but just to be a gathering place for those that and some customers have said this is like our church. And I just say it's mine. So it's fun.
And these are sandwiches. You want to show this? What kind of sandwich is that?
So smoked salmon, cream
Wow,
cheese. So
that looks
it's
really
more of
good.
a tea sandwich concept. So all of the sandwich fillings are more of a blended, and
Mhm.
I'm the cook of Atlas. Oh my goodness. So I came up with the menu. So we have a smoked salmon cream cheese. We have a chili garlic chicken salad, which is really a favorite. People love that sandwich. And it's a fun fusion. So in India, they're very close to China and they do fusion. And so they dip their pot stickers, they call them momos in India. They dip them in mayonnaise and the Chinese chili garlic sauce,
Hmm.
and it's super yummy.
Wow, that sounds good.
And so,
Chili garlic sauce.
so yeah, so
Is it kind of spicy?
it has this hum that is so delicious.
Nice.
And people love it. And I put cilantro in it. And so it's really fresh and celery. And, it's not a traditional chicken salad. And
Mhm.
customers will say, I don't like chicken salad, but I like this chicken salad. So anyway,
Gosh,
it's
there's
fun.
a lot of cool things to
Yeah.
try. Well, that sounds awesome. Well, we'll take a little break, and then when we come back, I want to get a little bit more of your guys' story, and sort of your history with Ogden a little bit more, and we'll do that when we come back.
Okay, fun.
All right. All right, welcome back. We are with the 2 out of the 3 founders now of Atlas Tea, Chandler and Amber Zaugg. So I'm interested in Hopper, not Hop. No, Hooper, not Hooper.
Hooper.
How do you
Remember.
pronounce it?
Okay, no, I tell everybody this, and I do it to be funny and memorable. So it's hooker,
Oh, but with
but with a P.
a P.
Hooper.
Hooper.
Yeah.
Hooper.
So if that little racy
Yeah.
twist makes
And
it
you have to
stick.
pronounce Utah town names correctly. Like everybody from back east pronounces it Zion. And I'm like, no,
Whoa.
it's Zion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
And Layton.
yeah,
I mean, there are
Leighton.
a lot of those.
Yeah, you got to say Leighton. You
Leighton.
can't say Leighton. You sound like a different weirdo.
Where are you? Where are you from? You're
Yeah, I don't know if you
definitely not
know
a
this,
local.
Ryan, but you don't call it Leighton. It's and then we don't say pitcher. We say pitcher.
It's pitcher.
Yeah. Yeah, Thule.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
that's a tricky one.
So what was it like growing up in Utah and
In Hooper.
Yeah.
Yes. So Hooper was very rural ditches. So think of the Great Salt Lakes, the geography, and the pioneers coming in, that they wanted more arable agriculture land. So they dig ditches.
Yeah.
And this is very like well-established. Hooper came from Hooper stock, wrote a book called Sons of Ditches.
I love that.
I think
That's
that
great.
is brilliant. I think it was Greg Hawes or J.B. Hawes, anyway, is the author. Sons of Ditches. So I grew up along ditch banks,
Nice.
like quite literally. My dad was a dentist, so he worked in South Ogden, which is 15 minutes away, but he was a farmer at heart. I mean, he loved growing tomatoes, and Hooper is known for tomatoes. Some people have cherry days or peach days. We have tomato days.
Nice.
And as a little girl, like there's a picture of me in this orange swimming suit, and you know how little girls will like stick their bellies out when they're trying to like pose. If you can picture it, there's one of me in Little Miss Tomato Days. I have a little sash of beauty, whatever that sash is called.
And so Little Miss Tomato was
Yeah,
picked out.
Little Miss Tomato.
And you were that?
Did I win? I don't know. I was in the newspaper, so maybe.
That's pretty cool.
Ronald Reagan came to Hooper
No way.
I think it was 1989.
Wow.
And we had T-shirts made that said, "Why not Hooper, Utah?" So we have a little tiny place on the map. Ronald Reagan made it so.
And so did you ever get out at Hooper? Or did you always want to stay in Weber County?
Okay. So, wow, I was a local girl. That's a good question. Did I want to get out? The answer is yes. I've always been fascinated with, the UK for sure. Absolutely. Through all the movies and cinema and, books and things. But I was a local girl. My family, I come from all girls.
Oh, really? Same with
7
my mom.
girls.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, my mom's got 4 sisters.
Wow.
That's
Oh, I
neat.
would love to peek into that. Girls, having all girls
They
and
all
no.
just like love each other and get along.
Yeah.
And that's not the case with my dad and his brothers.
Okay.
It's like they very rarely speak, but it seems like if it's all girls, seems
We
to be a
weren't
pretty decent.
competitive with each other, and so it made it pretty peaceful,
That's
I would
cool.
say. Like, there were some using of clothes that weren't yours, then that would cause some disruption. But for the most part, we were pretty peaceful. It was quiet. And
Yeah.
Hooper, my dad had plenty of land and garden and fruit trees and a pond and
Sounds like a
ducks.
great way
Like
to
my
grow up.
dad loved his ducks.
Yeah.
And my mom was just kind of the matriarch, just watching over us all. And we had horses, and it was lovely. Some of my favorite memories and stories are wild asparagus would grow on the ditch banks. And so in the season of asparagus in the spring, you could just like snap it off and chomp on it. So, just
Wow.
snacks all along the ditches.
God, I never knew that.
Right? It was
sounds
so
awesome.
fun. I know. I can still smell it. Like, it's very memorable.
That's cool.
So growing up in Weber County, where Atlas is now, and I like to tell people, I would do school shopping. That was the Ogden Mall back in the 80s when it was an enclosed mall. It had Nordstrom. It had Weinstocks, if you remember. It had the Bon Marché. I mean, it had ZCMI.
Wow.
It was
Huh.
like the big hub. Caramel corn, Orange Julius. They had a Hello Kitty store that like drove me mad every time. I wanted everything
Mm.
when I was little. And so Atlas right now, they leveled that. I don't know what year. It's been a couple of decades, I think, but they leveled that and built a more mixed use.
Yeah.
The way I would
Is it called the
com-
Solomon Center? Is it part of that, or is it?
it is part of it. So that it's called the Junction.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
because Ogden is Junction City. So
Hmm.
it's part of the Junction. It's on the Washington Boulevard side of the Junction.
Yeah, and Ogden's seen an amazing comeback. I mean, back in the 90s, as far as the like late 90s, it was kind of an armpit. It was pretty bad.
I think there are
It's
Instagram like full accounts about how bad Ogden is. I've seen some posts and I just disagree. I want to invite them into Atlas. Like, come here.
yeah, it's beautiful now. It's
Oh.
like it seems like the whole street of 25th Street's been restored.
Mhm.
And is it Jefferson and Washington Boulevards
Yes,
and
Washington Boulevard
those
is
both look great.
lovely and a lot of investment, a lot of art, like local artists. There's so local music. It's really Union Station. I think there's plan to make big improvements to Union Station.
Hmm.
So a lot of investment in Ogden
Yeah,
happening right now. The
yeah, it's
Wonder
cool to
Block,
see.
have you heard of that?
Yeah,
So
I've seen that.
and that's getting a lot of attention. There's going to be a urban grocery store and anyway, mixed use.
Yeah.
It should be really cool.
Yeah, well, come to Ogden. It's a cool place.
Yeah.
I've been telling people
Yeah.
that for
Don't
years.
count it. Thank you. Thank you for promoting my town.
Yeah. And so, Chandler, what's been your role within Atlas Tea Company?
Well, my role within Atlas is really to be a support system for my mom and my sister because I love them dearly and I want to be around for what they're doing and offer my love and be that source of connection and support for them.
That's awesome.
But last year I also published my first book, which is a
Oh,
short story, a fantasy short story called Into the Rest. It's
hmm.
the story of a young girl named Amelia whose dad passes away during a plague, and who a few years later hears about this heavenly place called the Rest. So she decides to travel there with her friend and her younger brother. They meet two trolls and two dragons and two angels along the way. But toward the middle of the story, Amelia discovers that she needs to connect with her own inner sense of self-worth, her sense of being, that she's valuable, that she has a place, and that she deserves to find peace. And like something that makes me really happy is that the message of my book happens to be synonymous with the message of Atlas, that that truth that everyone deserves to take their place and exist and be well. And that really is a foundational truth that helps Amelia visit the rest in the end and connect with her dad while she's there.
That's really cool.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's good to have a special place where you can find peace. That's for sure. And that's awesome. You guys have created that. That's not an easy thing to do. I think you got to have the right combination of people involved and the right team, and it takes a lot of thought and planning, and so it's I commend you guys. It looks like you've done really something awesome.
And just going back to, I loved that story of you on the river. It's this choice. It's like, what are we going to choose here?
Yeah.
And I think we are all in decision fatigue.
Hmm.
I mean, what are we going to watch? What are we going to eat? We have so many, we're in affluence like crazy. What are we going to choose here? And it's almost, it, there could, I think the argument could be made. We almost have too many choices right now
Yeah.
in our affluent society. And we created it. We're the ones who wanted all the choices in the beginning. And now we're really compelled to say, what is our best choice here? What are we, what's really going to move us forward and help us progress as humans?
Yeah. And I think it's like this time we spend on our phones, and I see these kids walking from high school back and forth, and half of them are just looking at their phones. that's not time in the present, you know? And I think
Yeah.
connecting with people in cool places in the present moment is something we're sort of missing. If you're someplace and you are with your phone, you're really not here. You're kind of somewhere inside that phone. And so I think, another thing with what you're doing is just physical connection with people and getting connected with your community. That's going to provide a whole lot more well-being than somehow feeling like you're connecting with people on your phone.
Absolutely. And feeling safe to do so. I mean, and guided to do so. I think so many of us, our children are in front of screens that they really aren't guided of what does a conversation really look like and feel like?
Yeah.
What is connection?
Hmm.
I think we're filled with questions
Hmm.
about what does that even mean?
Yeah.
And so that could move us into the next part and the purpose of Atlas. Like we have our tea shop, it's symbolic in a lot of ways and it's physical. So there is a gathering place. I think tea is a beautiful metaphor for humans in that here you have all these dried bits, what's going on in us that isn't fully alive. And you talk about that just now when kids are on their phone, what we aren't really fully alive
Hmm.
when we're not in the present,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And so I think tea is a really beautiful metaphor. What do we need to be steeped in
Hmm.
to bring us into feeling fully alive?
Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
So,
And it's
I
the
mean, the
real world.
purpose, yeah, into and what does that even feel like and mean? And what's the sensation of it? And there's a lot of sensory that needs to happen
Hmm.
to feel fully alive.
Yeah.
So what is the hot water? Basically, what's going to help us feel fully alive? What is the environment? What are we aiming for? What are the kind of the landmark things that we're really aiming for to be connected? What does it take? I
Yeah.
I when I as a therapist, um, that really is what does it take to feel connected? Because I think we're confused
Yeah.
about what it takes
Yeah.
to really feel connected to each other. And I see this moment in our affluence um, as really an evolutionary moment. I think it is pivotal right now because we have so many choices. We're so bombarded with so much marketing and so, look at me, look at me, look at me. And then we get to choose. And I think that's going to create this evolutionary, just uptick in how humans really relate to each other. It's like we have so many choices now. Now we get to choose, like really intentionally, how
Hmm.
are we going to spend our time?
Yeah, I think so. I think if AI gives everybody a little more time to do what it is they want to do, we will have even more choices. And I think I've been thinking about this for a while. I think people are going to either choose to embrace the real world and live in the real world, or some will probably fully embrace living in this virtual existence where they live in something like a metaverse like Facebook's trying to create right now. And I don't know why anybody would choose a artificial world over the real world unless they just feel like they're hopeless. But I don't see this metaverse, this virtual environment to be any kind of substitute for the real world. It's a bad substitute.
I think that's beautiful. And like that river experience that you had is what it's going to take. It's
Yeah.
like what is
Yeah.
going to force us to see that I think, I'm going to just kind of step back a little bit because what I think we're used to is survival, humans historically surviving.
Hmm.
And we've solved that. We're always warm if we want to be. We're always, we can cool our air in our house. Like we have transportation, all sorts. We've really solved so many of the problems of survival.
Hmm.
And so we end up, but our nervous systems is, we're still locked in survival when we
Hmm.
don't need to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's compelling. It's like, okay, so what are we going to choose? What's going to force us? I think we're really aching deeply
Hmm.
for connection. So we've solved the problems of survival for, for humans, for our species. And so now we get to choose, what is going to help me be like, to feel like I'm fully alive, to exist. Like I just get to be. I don't have to work so hard to survive. And so now I get to choose to exist, like really just enjoy, be on that river. Holy cow. I bet that was phenomenal. I would love to hear more.
It's hard to
about
get
that.
off it. I went on 2 river trips this summer. And then when you go back and you start seeing the shininess of cars after seeing nothing but red rock and river and
the
scenery
sun
and,
dappling on the river.
yeah,
And,
you're just like, man, I think your eyes are shocked the first time you see the modern world after you've been on the river for a long time. And so it's a strange world we live in, and it's a strange world we're heading to, because I think you're right. We're going to have to choose to reconnect with the world, or we're going to lose sight of it. And
yeah,
so,
absolutely. And I think it's a beautiful moment of celebration that we really don't need to just worry about our survival anymore.
yeah, it is. It's
We
great.
have so much food, the excess
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of people, I mean, we do have enough to share. How much do we throw away,
Yeah.
And so knowing that, are we going to choose to really enjoy being our species, like just being, and we don't have to be in survival all the time. We're choosing survival. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's not even,
Yeah.
it's a talk
And we're
about
choosing to
alternate
feed
reality
we're choosing to feed those dopamine centers in
Yeah.
our brain with
of
our phone.
survival.
And that
Yeah.
that just
It
reinforces
talk
that
about
survival
alternate
instinct.
reality. It's not, we don't have to work to survive anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
We get to be.
yeah, it's a lucky privilege to be able to be in that situation,
Yeah.
but we got to learn how to do that.
Yeah. And choose it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the evolutionary, like where we are. Like, what are we going to choose here? And so when I think of Atlas, and I believe Atlas deserves to exist. And that's the way I describe it. Atlas deserves to exist, to be. That noise is outside, it's going.
Mm-hmm.
And Atlas deserves to exist.
Yeah.
And those who want to and choose to can come in and cry if that's what's needed. I observed a pair of women. They were in Atlas for 3 hours. And I was in the back kitchen putting things together, and, because I'm still the cook, the sole cook of Atlas. And they were laughing, they were crying, like they had to get up to, get more napkins to wipe tears. And it was like the loveliest. It was, it made me cry. I'm like, that's why we're doing what we're doing.
That's cool. That's really awesome. Well, I commend you. It's a great thing. And I appreciate you guys coming on, Amber and Chandler and Emma. And yeah, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
You're
And this is the story in our new issue of Faces of Utah with Amber. And I love that picture. That turned out awesome. And so pick up your copy of Faces. It's available at a few select locations, or you can visit utahstories.com and subscribe and get your own copy. So with that, thanks a lot for joining us.
Richard, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Utah Stories has been part of the Atlas from the beginning.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys are a great Utah story too.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Clark's Auto is Utah's premier independent Subaru mechanic and auto shop. Check them out at clarksauto.com and on the back of Utah Stories magazine.